Turning pressure into power is one of the most valuable skills anyone can develop in their personal and professional life, because pressure is not something we can avoid. It shows up in unexpected ways, often in front of people who are watching closely, waiting to see how we will respond. In a courtroom, a workplace, a classroom, or even a family discussion, moments of pressure have the ability to shape reputations, influence decisions, and define character. When Judge Stephen Breyer laughed at Jasmine Crockett, it was not just a light-hearted reaction, it was a moment that put her under an intense spotlight. Laughter in those circumstances can make someone feel dismissed, underestimated, or undermined, but the power lies in how one responds. Pressure can make the unprepared falter, yet for those who know how to convert it into strength, it becomes the spark that ignites true authority and influence. The reason pressure feels so overwhelming is because it strikes at the core of our self-image. When someone laughs at us or when we are questioned in front of others, our natural instinct is to either retreat or react defensively. These instincts, while human, are rarely the ones that inspire confidence in others. People do not admire those who shrink back or lash out emotionally, they respect those who can stand firm, remain calm, and project composure even when circumstances are designed to rattle them. Turning pressure into power begins with understanding that the pressure itself is not the enemy. It is simply energy, and like any energy, it can be channeled. Instead of allowing it to weaken you, you can harness it to sharpen your focus, strengthen your voice, and command greater influence over the situation. One of the most effective ways to reframe pressure is to view it as a privilege. Pressure only exists when the stakes are high, when people are paying attention, and when your role in the moment carries significance. That means pressure is a signal that what you are doing matters. The student giving a presentation in front of a full classroom, the athlete standing at the free throw line in the final seconds of the game, the lawyer facing the judge, the employee presenting an idea to the CEO, all of these moments come with pressure precisely because the outcome is meaningful. Instead of fearing these situations, embracing them as opportunities allows you to flip the narrative. What others might see as intimidation, you can see as confirmation that you are in the right place, standing in the right moment, with a chance to leave an impression that lasts long after the event itself. Of course, seeing pressure as a privilege is not easy when your heart is racing and doubt creeps in. That is why preparation is a vital element in turning pressure into power. Confidence is not built in the heat of the moment, it is built long before, in the hours of unseen practice, reflection, and planning. Jasmine Crockett, like any person facing public scrutiny, would know that the courtroom is a stage where anything can happen. Knowing your material, understanding your arguments, rehearsing your delivery, and anticipating challenges allow you to face unexpected reactions, even laughter, with resilience. Pressure can derail those who rely only on natural talent, but it rarely defeats the person who has rehearsed so thoroughly that they can withstand any curveball thrown their way. Another crucial factor in handling pressure is emotional control. The first wave of emotion when someone laughs at you or dismisses your point can feel unbearable. Anger, embarrassment, and insecurity can rush in all at once. But in those critical seconds, power belongs to the one who does not let emotion dictate their reaction. Pausing, breathing, and allowing silence to work in your favor sends a stronger message than rushing to respond. Often, silence itself can be more powerful than words, because it shows that you are not rattled. When everyone expects a defensive reply, holding back creates anticipation. It makes people lean in, wondering what you will say next, and when you finally speak, your words carry more weight. Transforming pressure also requires mental reframing. Instead of thinking, "This is going wrong," you must learn to tell yourself, "This is my chance to demonstrate strength." The brain responds to the story you tell it. Athletes often use this technique by interpreting nerves as excitement. Instead of saying, "I'm nervous," they remind themselves, "I'm ready." That small shift creates a completely different physiological response, allowing them to perform at their best. Similarly, when pressure mounts in a conversation, meeting, or courtroom, reminding yourself that the eyes on you are an opportunity rather than a threat changes your body language, tone, and presence. In addition, pressure can be turned into power by focusing outward rather than inward. Most people crumble under pressure because they become hyper-focused on themselves. Composure, you signal to your brain that you are in control, and others begin to believe it too. Judge Breyer's laughter may have created an uncomfortable moment, but if Jasmine Crockett stood tall, met his eyes, and responded with measured confidence, the entire room would feel the shift in energy. Another key to transforming pressure into power is learning to find humor in difficult moments. Laughter, when used against you, can sting deeply. But when you learn to laugh with it, you rob it of its power to diminish you. Self-deprecating humor, when delivered with grace, can flip the atmosphere from one of ridicule to one of respect. People admire those who can smile in the face of challenge, because it shows security and strength. Instead of being embarrassed by laughter, using it as a bridge to connect with others can shift the balance of power back in your favor. What many people overlook is that pressure moments often live longer in memory than ordinary ones. People rarely remember the times when everything went smoothly, but they never forget the moments when tension was high and someone rose above it. Think about speeches, debates, or even historic trials. The moments etched into history are rarely the easy ones, they are the ones where everything could have collapsed but instead was transformed into triumph. That is why learning to handle pressure with dignity, grace, and strength can create defining moments in your life. When others expect you to crumble and instead you rise, you create a story that inspires not just yourself but everyone who witnesses it. The true measure of a person is not how they perform when the environment is comfortable, but how they hold themselves when the environment is hostile. Anyone can deliver a point when they are surrounded by support, but true authority is revealed when opposition is loud, when distractions are strong, and when unexpected interruptions throw you off course. Those who can remain steady in those storms are the ones who eventually command rooms, lead movements, and shape history. Pressure does not build character so much as it reveals it, and in the act of revealing, but learning to own it means transforming that discomfort into control, allowing it to work in your favor rather than against you. The reason silence carries such weight is that people are not accustomed to it. In conversations, debates, or confrontations, we are conditioned to respond instantly. When someone challenges us, mocks us, or even laughs at us, the instinct is to defend ourselves right away. Quick responses feel safe because they fill the gap, they avoid awkwardness, and they prove we are not frozen. But immediate reactions often lack the depth and composure that make communication effective. Silence, on the other hand, interrupts the rhythm. It catches people off guard. It forces them to listen, to wait, and to wonder. Owning silence means using it not as an absence of words but as a deliberate statement of presence. When you allow silence after being interrupted or ridiculed, you are making it clear that you are not rattled. Instead of rushing to explain yourself or to retaliate, you project steadiness. This steadiness unsettles those who try to undermine you, because it shows that their actions did not succeed in breaking your confidence. More importantly, it signals to the audience, whether it is a judge, a jury, a crowd, or even a group of colleagues, that you are in control of yourself and therefore in control of the moment. The absence of words can sometimes speak louder than the most eloquent response. Another reason silence is so powerful is that it creates space for reflection. In high-pressure situations, words often fly by so quickly that people barely process them. But when silence follows a statement or reaction, it forces the audience to pause and think about what just occurred. If someone laughs at you and you do not rush to defend yourself, that silence can make the laughter seem hollow. It leaves space for the weight of the moment to settle, for the energy in the room to shift naturally in your favor. People may begin to question the appropriateness of the laughter, to wonder about your composure, and to anticipate your next move. In this way, silence does not weaken you, it amplifies you. Owning silence also means understanding timing. Silence at the wrong moment can seem like hesitation, but silence at the right moment feels like strategy. The key lies in intentionality. A pause after a powerful statement emphasizes it. A pause after laughter or mockery absorbs it and then redirects the energy. A pause before responding to a difficult question builds anticipation and signals that your answer will be thoughtful. Leaders, speakers, and negotiators who master timing know how to wield silence like punctuation, ensuring that their words do not just fill the air but leave a mark. Silence also influences perception. People tend to associate quick speech with nervousness and slow, deliberate pacing with themselves or get through the moment without losing their train of thought. But someone who speaks slowly, with pauses, comes across as confident. They give the impression that they are in no rush, that they own the stage, and that others must wait on them. This subtle psychological shift changes the dynamics of power. The room begins to lean toward the speaker, following their pace, rather than the speaker chasing the rhythm of the room. Furthermore, silence gives you control over your emotions. When a reaction provokes anger or embarrassment, silence gives you time to breathe and process before speaking. It prevents emotional words that might weaken your stance and instead allows space for measured, intentional responses. This is why some of the most powerful figures in history, judges, leaders, negotiators, have used silence to command respect. They knew that reacting emotionally might satisfy the moment, but pausing and allowing silence to dominate would build authority in the long run. Owning silence is not about retreating. It is about choosing the higher ground and forcing others to operate on your terms. Silence also creates curiosity. In a world where people are used to noise, interruptions, and constant chatter, silence is rare. When someone pauses, people begin to wonder what is coming next. Their attention sharpens. The room becomes tense with expectation. This anticipation works in your favor because it gives your eventual words more impact. The audience is more likely to remember what you say after a pause because they were waiting for it. Silence prepares the ground for your words to take deeper root. Another aspect of owning silence is learning to be comfortable with it internally. Many people feel the urge to fill every gap in conversation because silence feels like failure. They equate it with not knowing what to say, with losing control, or with being judged. But this is only a perception. In reality, silence is neutral. It only becomes weakness if you let insecurity shape it. Training yourself to embrace silence, to sit in it calmly without rushing to fill it, builds resilience. It teaches you that you do not need to constantly perform to maintain control. Sometimes, the most powerful stance is to let the world wait while you hold your ground. In high-stakes environments, silence can also serve as a mirror. When you do not respond immediately, you allow others to reflect on their own actions. If someone mocks you and you remain silent, they are left to sit with their words. The laughter that initially felt empowering to them may begin to feel uncomfortable as silence stretches on. The audience may begin to turn against them, recognizing the cruelty or immaturity of their behavior. Your silence has shifted the responsibility back onto them without you needing to say a word. This is one of the most subtle yet. Silence also cultivates respect over time. People who are known for thoughtful pauses, for speaking less but with more intention, tend to command greater authority. Their words carry more weight because they are not wasted. Contrast this with someone who speaks constantly, filling every gap with noise. Their words eventually lose value because they are too abundant. By owning silence, you train others to lean in when you do speak, to expect significance, and to listen with greater care. In addition, silence creates emotional balance. High-pressure moments often come with a surge of adrenaline. Words spill out faster than intended, tones rise, and mistakes occur. By pausing and embracing silence, you regulate that surge. You regain control over your breathing, calm your body, and reset your energy. This not only improves how others perceive you but also strengthens your internal state. The more you practice this, the more naturally it comes, until silence becomes your instinctive response to pressure rather than panic. Owning silence is not about saying nothing, it is about using the absence of words as deliberately as you use words themselves. It is about turning what most people fear into a tool that elevates your presence. It requires patience, self-control, and confidence, but once mastered, it transforms the way you communicate and the way others respond to you. In a courtroom, in a boardroom, on a stage, or even in personal relationships, silence can disarm opposition, build anticipation, and create authority. It allows you to rise above distractions, to reframe tension, and to maintain control when others expect you to falter. Strength in unexpected moments is often the true measure of a person's resilience, because life rarely announces when it is about to test you. The most defining trials often come suddenly, when you least expect them, catching you off guard in front of others who are watching closely. That is why what unfolded when Jasmine Crockett stood in the courtroom, facing laughter and then silence, is more than just a political or legal exchange. It is a mirror of the human experience, where challenges arise without warning, and the way you respond has the power to either elevate you or diminish you. Strength is not built in the calm, predictable stretches of life, but in those surprising, unpredictable moments when your character is put on display without rehearsal. These moments are uncomfortable, but they are also the ones that leave lasting impressions on others and transform you from within. When something unexpected happens, the natural instinct is to feel destabilized. A joke at your expense, a dismissive laugh, an unexpected interruption, each can make you feel as though the ground beneath you has shifted. Your thoughts scatter, your heart rate increases, and suddenly the carefully prepared words in your head vanish. This is the test that not mean never feeling shaken, it means learning how to anchor yourself when the world tilts unexpectedly. The anchor is not perfection or flawless delivery, but the ability to remain centered enough to move forward with dignity, confidence, and control. One of the first steps in developing strength in unexpected moments is embracing adaptability. Rigid plans often collapse under pressure because life is not scripted. The most powerful individuals are not those who memorize every step, but those who can pivot smoothly when the situation shifts. When laughter erupts in a serious setting, the rigid person panics because their plan has been disrupted. The adaptable person, however, recognizes the shift and recalibrates instantly. They adjust tone, delivery, or body language to align with the new energy in the room. This adaptability demonstrates resilience, because it shows that you are not defined by circumstances but by your ability to respond with grace. Strength also comes from reframing perspective in the moment. Most people interpret unexpected challenges as threats, but strong individuals see them as opportunities to demonstrate character. When something goes wrong, when the unexpected arises, it creates a stage that was not there before. All eyes are on you, not because of what you plan to say, but because of how you are handling the disruption. This is a unique chance to showcase poise, humility, courage, or wit, qualities that cannot always be seen in a perfectly rehearsed performance. What others intended as a distraction or embarrassment can become the very moment that defines your presence, if you have the strength to reframe it as your opportunity instead of your downfall. Another element of strength in unexpected moments is authenticity. Many people, when faced with pressure, hide behind masks. They try to imitate what they think strength should look like, sternness, bravado, or cold detachment. But true strength often lies in authenticity. Responding as yourself, without pretense, creates a connection that no amount of artificial performance can match. If you are genuinely calm, show calm. If you are able to add humor, let it be real. If you need to pause, let it be deliberate. People respect those who stay true to themselves under pressure, because it proves that their confidence is not an act but a reality. Authenticity in moments of surprise reveals that you are unshaken in your identity, even if circumstances are chaotic. Strength is also reflected in body language during unexpected challenges. Words can falter, but the way you carry yourself often communicates louder than speech. When the unexpected arises, slouching, fidgeting, or avoiding eye contact signals discomfort and weakness. Standing tall, keeping your shoulders back, breathing steadily, and meeting the gaze of an opponent feels less cutting when you hold your posture with strength. Silence feels less like hesitation when your body language radiates control. Even before you speak, the room decides whether you are commanding or crumbling, and that decision is often based on nonverbal strength. Another critical aspect of strength in unexpected moments is emotional regulation. The human mind naturally floods with emotion during surprise, embarrassment, anger, anxiety, even fear. Allowing those emotions to control your words and actions can cause you to react impulsively, which usually plays into the hands of those who sought to throw you off balance. Strength means acknowledging the emotions without surrendering to them. It means breathing through the surge of adrenaline, slowing down the rush of thoughts, and buying yourself enough time to respond intentionally rather than reactively. This self-mastery is rare, but when others see it, they interpret it as confidence and authority. The ability to regulate emotions under pressure becomes a defining characteristic of leaders, visionaries, and figures who inspire. In unexpected moments, strength also emerges from clarity of purpose. If you know why you are there, what your mission is, and what your values are, then no amount of distraction can fully derail you. A laugh or an interruption may sting, but it cannot erase your foundation. Clarity acts as a compass that guides you back to your central message. Those who lose sight of their purpose when challenges arise drift into defensive arguments or nervous rambling. Those who remain anchored in their mission use the unexpected as a bridge back to their central point. Strength is not in ignoring disruptions but in folding them into your narrative in a way that reinforces your purpose. Resilience in unexpected moments is also built through practice. While you cannot rehearse every possible disruption, you can practice being disrupted. You can place yourself in situations where you are forced to think on your feet, where interruptions are likely, and where the outcome is unpredictable. Debating, public speaking, improvisational exercises, or even challenging conversations can train you to remain steady when surprises arise. With time, you become more comfortable with uncertainty, less afraid of mistakes, and more confident in your ability to recover from them. Practice transforms unexpected moments from paralyzing threats into familiar territory where you know you can survive and even thrive. Strength and surprise also comes from perspective beyond the moment. Often, what feels like an earth-shattering disruption in the present will be only a small memory later. End of the story, but just one scene in a much greater narrative. By doing so, they reduce the pressure of the moment, making it easier to respond with balance and composure. Unexpected moments also test humility, and strength is revealed in how humility is shown. It takes humility to acknowledge mistakes, to laugh at yourself when appropriate, or to admit when you do not know something. Many people believe that strength means never showing weakness, but in reality, strength often shines brightest in honesty. Audiences and peers respect those who can confront the unexpected with grace, without pretending to be perfect. Humility disarms critics,